Good evening. Welcome to the Arts Commission's meeting of Thursday, August 1st, 2024. I now call the meeting to order at 6:03 p.m. We will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance, and I would like to ask if Commissioner Ochoa wouldn't mind giving us the Pledge of Allegiance. Lucia, oh my gosh. Commissioner Lucia, would you mind helping us with the
Ready? Begin.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next order of business is roll call. Ms. Vertieri?
Thank you. I would just like the record to show that all members are present except Commissioner Ashendorf, Commissioner Ochoa, and Vice Chair Zuckerman. So give me 1 second to mark the attendance. You may now move to public comment.
Each member of the public will be given a total of 3 minutes to speak. And first, we will take comments from those in the council chambers and then on Zoom. We will only have one time period for each group. There will be no going back and forth. So members of the public in the chambers, now is the time to speak. And no. Okay, so we have no one physically here from
And
the
Chair,
public.
there are no members on Zoom.
Thank you. Okay, and now anyone here from the commissioners would like to share any public comments? Okay, all right. So let's do this. Let's do the next order of business, which will be the consent calendar. All matters listed under the consent calendar are considered to be routine and will be acted upon in one motion. Members of the Arts Commission, staff, or the public request specific items to be discussed and/or removed from the consent calendar for discussion. We have one item under the consent calendar and approval of the minutes as of June 6th, 2024 from the Arts Commission meeting. So are there any comments from the commission? Or would you like to entertain a motion regarding the minutes?
I had a comment.
Mm-hmm.
I think that we adjourned earlier than what this says. This says 8:57 p.m. I thought we adjourned at 7:57 or around there. That was it.
We can review confirmation of the time and make that adjustment if needed.
I did see that right under public comments on that very first page, it says Scott Fitzgerald introduced himself as the County Department of Education Arts Coordinator. It's Scott Fitzpatrick is his name.
Thank you. That will be noted.
Thank you. Are there any other comments? Okay. All right. Okay. So can we would like to entertain a motion to pass the minutes we're going to make those edits, but we want to go ahead and move forward with that. Is there a motion and is there a second?
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes as they are, or with the adjustments.
Excellent. Okay, thank you.
Seconded.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Dudarian. All right. Next order of business is old business review of I'm sorry.
Excuse me. If you can now vote on your dais to approve the minutes with the edits.
Okay.
Motion carries 5-0 to approve the minutes with the edits. I would also like to note for record purposes that Commissioner Ochoa arrived at 6:06 p.m. Thank you.
Okay, so our next order of business is old business to review the utility box art program handbook.
Excuse me, Chair Wondercheck. Actually, we had a couple changes to this, just a small change to the agenda moving forward. The first item is the monthly report for art specialist report. That used to be at the end of the meeting, but we're moving that to the top to match with our Parks and Community Services Commission. We want to keep them consistent. So that's just one little change.
Okay, thank you. So at this point in time, we'll have the Arts and Culture staff report. If you would like to do that, Ms. Garner, thank you.
Thank you, Chair Wondercheck. So the arts specialist report tonight, the first item is the art crawl. So I just want to, I've been kind of talking about this in past meetings, but I'm bringing this back again, just a reminder whenever I have updates. So the website for art crawl is current and the online application to attend is ready to go when the application opens. And the application will open in early September and will be open for about a month to accept attendees. I set some flyers on the dais for you all to pass along, and you're welcome to hand those out as you like. But all the information on the website right now is current, so you can also reference that for the art crawl. The next item is Art Venture. We are getting really close to the Art Venture event in September. We're coming close to it. So currently we've accepted about 180 artists into the juried art exhibition. And we have close to 300 artworks to display, so it's going to be a really big show. This year we have some additions. We have some new art walls, some museum-grade art walls called Mila walls, really beautiful white walls that we'll be able to display artwork on for this exhibition this year in the Norma Herzog. So with kind of all that light and the new walls, it's going to be really beautiful this year. And then the Costa Mesa Minute for the commissioners that assisted with that have Commissioner Ochoa, Commissioner Aschendorf, and then Vice Chair Commissioner Zackerman. They each did a Costa Mesa Minute that will air on Instagram, so we're excited to see that. I was told that it will come out. They like to release video outreach about a couple weeks before the event, so you have a little time on that, but I'll let you all know when those come out, and those should be really fun to see for Art Venture. And the same thing with Art Crawl. I have some flyers on the dais for you all. You're welcome to take with you for Art Venture. And the budget update for fiscal year 2024-25, we just entered the new fiscal year in July. So we're happy to announce that every item for the Arts and Culture Master Plan was approved at the funding that was requested. So I've put in those, green circles for all the items that were approved, and some of them had slight increases. For example, the free park performances was $24,000 last year. This year it's $36,000. And that's all in the Arts and Culture Master Plan. And then also we had a $10,000 increase to our arts grant program. So thank you to the Arts Commission and your advocacy for that. So this year we have $20,000 to give out for arts grants, which is great. So happy to see that. And the next, free park performances. So as part of this program, we had the symphony and the cities come as part of Concerts in the Park with the Costa Mesa Foundation. And that happened on Tuesday, and I think we had a really great turnout. I want to say over 2,000 people were there. Wow. Yeah, it was really, it was great to see. And Carl St. Clair was there. We did a little interview with Seam TV, so you'll see that shortly too. But overall, I think it went really well. And then I also want to let you know that I do have a complete list of performances that are being scheduled for the summer and fall as part of this program. That's all on the website as well right now. So there's a bunch of performances for Art Venture. So, and the shorter website for Art Venture is, I don't know if any of you know this, but it's www.artventurecm, as in CostaMesa.com. So that has everything Art Venture, and there's a list of performances there as well. And then I'm currently working on booking a couple different performances for the Hispanic Heritage Month celebration that we'll do in September as well, looking at a folklorical group and maybe some music for that event. So more on that later. And that concludes my art specialist report for August. Thank you.
Excellent, thank you. Excellent. All right, are there any questions from the commission? regarding that staff report. Commissioner Ochoa?
Hi, Ms. Gardner, I had a question. How do the numbers compare from last year in terms of like the entries that we received?
Thank you, Commissioner Ochoa. Yes, as an art venture, correct? Yes. So last year, I think we had about 130 artists that participated. So we definitely increased this year. I want to say almost by like 60 to 70 artists that applied. So it was great to see. And then the artwork, we accept about the same amount, just due to the limitations of the space and the walls that we have. So, yeah.
Great. It's great to see that growth.
Yeah.
Any other commissioner with any comments or questions for the report? Okay.
May I make one?
Oh, yes, Commissioner Dejarian.
I just wanted to say I was at the the concert in the park on Tuesday night, and it was a fantastic concert. Wonderful to hear the Pacific Symphony, and like Ms. Gardner said, the turnout was rather impressive. We arrived about an hour early, so we were kind of close up, but then we looked around at a certain point and realized, I mean, it went all the way back. And just fantastic to see the interest not only in Pacific Symphony but in this kind of community outing. So fantastic job on that. Very, very well done.
Excellent. I have a quick question. What is the typical turnout for the concert? Is it 2,000 or can anyone answer that? Yes.
So the typical turnout that we had for the previous concerts, which were more rock and roll based, like a typical type of concert. The first concert, we probably had about 3,000. The very last concert, the one prior to the symphony, we had probably about 4,000 to 5,000. So it just depends on the band and what kind of following they have. And the symphony, this is the first time that we actually had the symphony here in Costa Mesa, even though, you know, they're basically based out of here at Costa Mesa. So for the first event, for a first time event like that, we were very, very pleased. And it was definitely a great turnout, and I think a lot of people definitely enjoyed it. So we'll be working, to bring them back, definitely next year.
That's excellent. And what an honor to have Carl St. Clair conduct in the park, too. So that's wonderful. Excellent. Are there any public comments?
Chair, there are currently no members on Zoom.
Thank you. Okay. Well, thank you so much for your presentation, Ms. Lorette. That was wonderful. So I believe at this time we will go to old business, which is the review of the utility box handbook. And with that, if there are any questions from the commission, if we want to go ahead and actually look at that, let's pull that up. And let's see, any questions from the commission? Yes, Commissioner Rodarian.
Yeah, so I noticed on page 5, the bullet point 5 at the top of the page, we say artists may apply once a year and submit one artistic design per year. But then a couple paragraphs down under the heading Artist Honorarium for Designs, the last sentence in that paragraph says the honorarium for one utility box is $300, and artists can submit 2 applications per year, pending available funding and volume of applications. So I just wanted to highlight there's that inconsistency in the language. If I were to make some suggestion, I think I'd be personally fine with perhaps the latter acceptance of multiple submissions, but perhaps limiting it to one accepted design a year. I don't know if any other commissioners have any thoughts on that, or perhaps Ms. Garner have a comment.
So again, you're saying the honorarium of one utility box is $300, and artists can submit 2 applications with 1 accepted a year? Is that what we want to say, something similar to that? And would we write that up top as well?
So I think is something I missed. I was trying to put in there just once a year for each artist. So the highlighted part is what I added in, but I may have just missed that kind of the last from the old application, the draft. So I'm happy to just change that and keep it that way, but we can also change it however you like. If you wanted to go that route and submitting more than 1 design, but only having 1 accepted a year, we could do that too.
Any other commissioner comments?
I would agree with that, to be able to have at least 2 submissions and then only 1 accepted. I think that's a very good idea.
Okay. Any other comments? Commissioner Ochoa?
Yes, I do agree with Darian and Commissioner Mann. That sounds very fair to make those amendments. I think my question was on page 6. I appreciate the revisions. I think it adds a lot more clarity to the sponsorship boxes. I did have a question about the institution soliciting artworks from a local artist. Is there a directory or a list that we could provide these institutions?
Thank you, Commissioner Ochoa. Yes, we have an arts directory currently, but I think moving forward with this program, I would compile, we have, lists that we use for all utility box artists that have participated in the past. And we collect more every year, so I could definitely supply them with pretty big list of past participating artists, and then just kind of keep adding to that, and then kind of connect them. Because we do also have artists that have done boxes many years ago and haven't done them more recently. But I also use the arts directory to kind of pull artists that I think could also participate in that program. So I could come up with something as like a document that I could officially put online for everybody to use. Yes.
Great, thank you. And on page 14, is it possible to include dimensions? I understand maybe utility boxes may vary, but that, I don't know if anyone else thinks that may be useful for the artists or designers.
That's excellent. Yes, absolutely.
I can jump in here too. The only, I could maybe give like a range, but all the boxes are all different. So there's some that are really large and some is a little bit smaller, just based on the year that they were installed. So I'm happy to talk to our Public Works and see if we can get some dimensions for those. And then also I'll say that our vendors do a great job of doing all that measuring and stuff, but this would be helpful for artists to kind of piece out their artwork too. So yeah.
That's excellent. Okay. Any other commissioner comments? All right.
I would like to
Yeah.
make a couple.
Commissioner
Yeah,
Darian?
so just to follow up on Commissioner Ochoa, her comments about page 6, and that same, is that point 3, organizations and businesses are required to solicit an artwork design from a local artist. I'm just assuming and just asking for purposes of clarification. Local artist refers to the same sort of qualifications earlier in the handbook as being a resident of Orange County, correct?
Yes, correct.
Great. Just wanted to double check on that. Here's some minor points, so forgive me to be so minute. On point 1, that second sentence, ask us about our discretionary nonprofit fee for small organizations. I might just suggest rewording it to say something along the lines of inquire for reduced nonprofit fees for small organizations, something simple like that. And then I was just curious on that point 3 as well. I'm returning to that. Sorry, I'm just looking at my notes here. We say that in the section in point 1, it'll be $3,000, and then somewhere else in the space that the funds paid will go to cover honorariums to other artists. And then we say they'll have to solicit a local artist that will then receive an honorarium from the city. I was just wondering if you could help me think through the reasoning on that. I don't have a criticism necessarily, but I was just curious as to why that was framed in such a way.
Sure. So the thought process behind that is all the artists that currently participate in the program get an honorarium. So if we do have, and this is something we're still kind of thinking through because with these changes, but if we had an artist that, let's say, was chosen by a business and a sponsorship, we just don't want them to not get the same monetary treatment as the other artists just because they're working with the sponsorship or business. And we also just, if the business decides not, and the business can decide if they'd like to pay them for, like, they want them to mock up 5 designs and pay them for that. But regardless of that, I think the thought for me was just, we wanted to get them consistent, fair payment like the rest, regardless of whether they worked with the sponsor or they submitted on their own.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, fine enough. I don't know if there are any other comments on that, but I just was curious as to the reasoning behind that. Thank you.
Are there any public comments at this point in time?
At this moment, there are no members on Zoom.
Okay, Excellent. So at this point, I believe what we're going to do is our wonderful Miss Laurette Garner is going to take this, bring it back to us next time that we meet, and then we can make a vote at that point in time. Okay?
Yes, that's correct. Thank you, Chair Wondercheck.
Okay, thank you so much.
So if we can make a motion to move it to the next agenda?
Okay. Anyone want to make a motion?
I move to move this to the next agenda.
All right, thank you,
I'll second that.
Commissioner Lucia and Commissioner Mann.
Commissioners, if you may vote on your dais. Motion carries 5-0 to bring back the utility box art program handbook to the next meeting.
Okay, thank you. All right. We are now moving on to the review of the Poet Laureate Program Handbook. And with this one, are there any questions from the commission at this time? If we want to pull that information up, go right ahead and do so. Oh, Commissioner Ochoa.
I think the improvements look great. I do have a note here. I understand that 5 poets previously met the qualifications, but none were selected, so that's why we're reviewing this. And I was wondering if they have received any constructive feedback, either from the panel or have been encouraged to reapply. I just want to underscore how we treat, these poets kind of reflect the culture that we want to foster as well.
Yes, thank you, Commissioner Ochoa. We let them know that we have not made a decision, so they are welcome to keep, we asked them if they want to keep their application in the running, and they did, so we just kind of have them on file. So what we'll do when we open it again, I don't think they need to reapply, but I did ask them if they wanted to add things to their application. They are welcome to do so. But we'll definitely reach out to them again and then ask them if they, kind of we're opening this for this time period, and then we'll let you know and kind of engage them in the timeline. So.
Great, thank you, Ms. Gardner.
Any other questions? No, okay. Are there any members of the public who wish to speak on this item?
There are currently no members on Zoom.
Thank you. Okay, so may we make a motion for approval of this Poet Laureate? Oh, I'm sorry, Commissioner Ochoa.
No apologies necessary, Chair. I did have a question. I was wondering, is there, are the same panelists invited back to review the applicants? And then is there a rubric for the evaluation?
Yes, to both. We were planning on having the same panel come back and review them as the first time, kind of keep it cohesive. And then there is a rubric that we used. We have one to reference. So we could definitely, once we kind of decide and choose, we could have something available for feedback. Yes.
Okay, super, thank you.
Excellent questions. And thank you. Let's go ahead and vote then on making a motion to move forward with this wonderful corrections that Ms. Garner has made to the Laureate Program Handbook. Anyone want to make a motion?
Turn it off. I move to approve the Poet Laureate Handbook.
I'll second that.
Excellent. So I believe we now need to vote.
Motion carries to approve the Poet Laureate Program Handbook, 5-0.
Thank you. And thank you again, Laurette Garner, for the work that you've put into this. We really appreciate it. All right. New order of business. The next order of business is new business, and it's the information about free at Segerstrom Center campus. So I believe this is a staff presentation.
Thank you, Chair Wondercheck. So this was a first-year program for us as part of the Arts and Culture Master Plan. This was our first year of implementation, and so we took kind of what we learned, and all the things that we implemented and learned are in this report here on the agenda for the Free Segerstrom Center campus update. So we've suggested some changes to next year based on how things went this year, and are currently creating a schedule with all 6 organizations on the Segerstrom Center for the Arts campus. So for next year, we plan on having tickets for performances beginning in October and up until June of 2025. And we're still working on that, but I'll have those posted as soon as it's solidified. And then we do plan on changing a few things that's noted in this agenda. We do want to change our outreach method slightly, and we'll be offering more shows on social media after sending out to our local nonprofit groups that are listed here on this report. And then the other big change will be switching from the shuttle service to parking vouchers for participants based on kind of the feedback we got from the last batch from last fiscal year. So yeah, so this report is basically, you may all review it, and if you have suggestions or questions, but it's kind of a review and file document.
Can I ask, I think when we were talking about this before, when we were talking about how you guys were, the Art Council was buying tickets from these big companies that are for profit. Is there any way they would possibly donate any of these tickets so that we could use the other money that we buy these tickets for artists in other respects? Because I feel like they have to have charitable contributions that they have to make every year anyway.
Thank you, Commissioner Mann. Yes, these are great questions. This is part of the Arts and Culture Master Plan and how it was designed. So when this is complete, we have one more year on this plan. We can definitely bring it back and discuss how we want to, move things around. And then also, all those organizations, while they're large, they are nonprofits. And this is part of the city's efforts to support the nonprofits in the arts that we have not previously supported in years past. So in a way, it's twofold. It's to support our organizations and keep them here, and we want to, have a good relationship and partnership with all of them because they bring vibrancy to the city. But also, we want to offer tickets that may feel unattainable to people in the community because they are a higher price level. So that's currently the way kind of we view it and what's kind of written in the Arts and Culture Master Plan. But again, we have another, 2 fiscal years, and we could kind of reassess. And I know we'll do all that work in outreach.
I appreciate the list that you put on the back, the table that shares with us who is receiving these wonderful tickets. And my question is, if we know of a few other nonprofits in the community, can we add to that list?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I know this next year I do want to expand some more outreach. We just want to, this first year we were really trying to hit a demographic, groups that may have been underserved that we want to, get them to groups, but also maintain privacy, which is why we worked with these nonprofits to have like a point person and to give those tickets out and kind of arrange the events for them. But, moving forward, I think we can still do that, but then kind of expand it a little bit to the public as well, while trying to serve Costa Mesa, but also trying to get tickets to people who just, wouldn't normally go.
Excellent. Thank you so much. We appreciate this list. Any other commissioners? Commissioner Ochoa.
Hi, I'm a fan of this free program, and I think it's great that we're able to support that. I do have a question. I was wondering, could we reach out to the point person at these organizations listed to kind of better understand what the needs are for the communities that they serve, to determine what would be most appropriate? I understand, like, maybe someone who's receiving services for Meals on Wheels is homebound and may not be able to physically go to Segerstrom to see for an event. And I think what we want to do is, maybe have a free program that's more accessible. And I think that's one of the goals of our commission.
I'm sorry, was there a question or just a statement?
The question was, could we possibly reach out to the point person to understand what the needs are for the communities that they serve?
Yeah,
In some instances, maybe these free tickets may not be suitable.
sure. Yes, absolutely. And we started with a list of organizations that the city does work with pretty regularly, so we know a lot of what the work that they're doing. But yes, absolutely. And we're still working on kind of figuring out demographics and what works for best for people. So yes, absolutely.
Any other commissioner comments, questions?
I'd recommend reaching out to the Newport Mesa YMCA. They have a lot of childcare programs there.
Thank you, Commissioner Lucia. Any other commissioner? Commissioner Dudarian.
Yeah, I just want to echo previous comments. I think it's a fantastic program and very good to see that we're doing this and offering these free opportunities for various people in our community to attend shows. Having personally organized transportation before with coaches or buses or anything of the sort, I can appreciate that they are in fact very difficult and in some instances a waste of money. So I was pleased to see the pivot to more focused uses of those funds so that we can provide transportation for the groups that will actually use it, namely the senior center members. So I thought that was wonderful and a very wise move. I just wanted to mention that. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I just wanted to add that I really love this program too. And even if we're paying for the tickets, no, I totally get it. I ran a theater for a long time, and it's really hard sometimes to fill a house in general, and then also just, it's expensive. You do not make money in theater,
Right.
but it's wonderful. Thank you.
I appreciate what Commissioner Mann said, and she's absolutely right. Having tickets come into these wonderful programs here, it's supporting our city and it's supporting the institutions. It's huge. So kudos to the City of Costa Mesa for making this happen. Thank you so much. Okay, are there any public comments or anyone from the public who wishes to speak on this item?
Chair, there are currently no members on Zoom.
Okay, well, public comments are now closed. And are there any additional comments by our commission or staff that anyone would like to share at this point in time? Okay, Commissioner Ochoa.
I apologize for my tardiness. Speaking of Art Venture, I'm super excited for this year's Art Venture. Thank you, Ms. Gardner and staff, for all your work. Last year's was a great event, and I'm sure this year I wouldn't expect any less. I'm excited to share that last year's winner of the 3D category, Antonio Kim, has an exhibition up at Launch LA, a wonderful gallery in Mid-City. And this highlights the kind of significance and boost these awards give to the artists that participate, and it's a joy to witness these artists' growth. And I'm excited for Art Venture, and I'm excited for Hispanic Heritage Month. Great work, team.
Can I jump in real quick? And also, Commissioner Ochoa, you need to tell them about your show coming up in September, right?
That is unofficial business, but you are all cordially invited, as well as members of the public, to my two-person art exhibition in Irvine. This is my Orange County debut, and I would love to see your faces there at Unveil Gallery, September 7th.
Please state the name of the gallery again. You said September 7th.
Unveil Gallery in Irvine.
Unveil. And what time?
The opening starts from 5 to 8.
Okay.
I'll send you an email.
Okay, thank you very much. That's beautiful.
Thanks.
Great to see it. Any other comments from commissioners?
Yes.
Commissioner Mann?
I want to thank you guys so much. This is like the most fun time of year because you bring out all of these different, we get to see Art Venture going on, Art Crawl. Now we have the Poet Laureate program, our handbook ready, and it's just like the utility art boxes. It's just wonderful. And then the Segerstrom Performing Arts, and it just seems like art is everywhere when you look at our agenda, and I love that. And I recently, it's so funny, I went to the Laguna Playhouse, and I saw a show there, and we have such good stuff out here in Costa Mesa. I'm just really, I'm really proud of ourselves here. And I also was in Hermosa Beach, and my son was involved in a AVP National Juniors Championship volleyball game. And on our way on this one street, I don't know if it's Hermosa Boulevard or Gerondo, it's just packed with graffiti style artwork, but I can't tell you how many blocks it went. And it was just like, and I don't know if it was individual artists who each got this section, but I don't know if you ever go around Costa Mesa and you just see big long block walls, you know, with nothing on them. And these had so much on there. And I know it's a certain type of area that would definitely fit in that category. It wouldn't necessarily fit in, you know, over by South Coast Plaza, but maybe on the west side or somewhere else. It's a great place for those like murals and spots for artists, and I would love to see more of that. And we're just capable of so much, apparently. It's wonderful. Thank you.
So Commissioner Mann, were you speaking of the art? Did you say Hermosa?
It was Hermosa Beach.
I saw that.
Did you see that wall?
My daughter did a volleyball competition, and I saw that. Sorry,
Isn't
everyone.
it great? It's a great wall, and it just made me go, oh, I got to bring this to the meeting. I have video, but I mean, it's...
Okay, I totally know what you're stating. And actually, you know, if I can ask a quick question, I was wondering about this. With different businesses that come into our city, isn't there a certain amount of percentage of money that needs to go back to the arts or to the parks, or that we could utilize for artwork? Or I'm opening a can of worms.
Not at this time.
Not at this time. Okay. I was just, isn't it called a capitalization of something?
The one, are you talking about the 1% for art fees that a lot of cities do?
Yes.
Yes. We have that in the Arts and Culture Master Plan. It's mentioned, and then it's also mentioned in the Art and Public Places report that we brought back. And we've been kind of going through pieces of that just as to get opinions and suss out. But it's a little bit of a longer road in discussion with other departments in the city as a whole and council. So,
Okay.
yeah.
But that's something that we could eventually discuss in the future, because it's in our plan for the future. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you for clarifying that. I really appreciate it.
Yes, if we could suck money a little bit from everywhere for the arts, I think that would be wonderful. Just a little 1% from everything. We would do very well.
Thank you, Commissioner Mann. I do have one quick comment. There's an organization called the Arts and Learning Conservatory here in Costa Mesa, and on August 24th between 1 and 4 p.m. there is an open house for the new performing arts space that was created to really be in support of children in the arts as well as support our community. So that is, again, August 24th, 1 to 4 p.m. I will be there. If any of the rest of you would like to come, that would be wonderful. And eventually we're going to do a ribbon cutting in October for the theater that is in that space. It's a 200-seat theater right here in Costa Mesa. So would be excited to see all of you there as well. Thank you. Any other comments? Okay.
Thank you, Madam Chair. No, I just want to make a few comments and thank the commission for their dedication and really their focus and making those, you know, our programs and initiatives really a priority and making a great improvement within the city here of Costa Mesa. So it's exciting, and I know we got a lot of different things coming up in the next couple of months. So it's going to be certainly an exciting time, not just, you know, for you guys but also the city, but especially me since I'm kind of new. So I'm really excited to be a part of it. So thank you.
And we are so glad you're here. Thank you so much for leading the way with the Park and Recreation Department. All right, so I believe at this time our meeting can come to a close. We want to adjourn our meeting, and it's adjourning at 6:40. Oh, I thought I saw a hand. Okay, I'm like, no. All right, so we're adjourning this meeting at 6:40 p.m. Thank you.